Taylor Hayes had spent years watching Brooke Logan unravel the lives around her, always circling Ridge, always returning just when peace seemed within reach. She watched her children get caught in the crossfire, saw the scars on her own heart never truly fade. And no matter how far Ridge pulled away from Brooke, it always seemed like a matter of time before he drifted back into her orbit. Taylor had come to one undeniable truth. Brooke Logan was not just a woman from Ridge's past. She was a permanent threat to their future. This time, Taylor wasn't going to wait for the inevitable collapse. She was done playing patient. Done being noble. Ridge had come back to her after the last disaster with Brooke, but the wound was fresh and the reconciliation fragile. Taylor knew it was only a matter of time before Brooke made another play, either intentionally or by simply being Brooke. So she made a decision. She reached out to someone who had his own complicated history with Brooke, Nick Marone. Nick was no saint. He knew Brooke's weaknesses as well as anyone. And while he didn't wear his scars as loudly as Ridge did, he had every reason to be wary of her. Taylor proposed a plan, simple in concept, ruthless in execution. A setup. Brooke would be invited to a suite at a downtown hotel under the pretense of a Forrester International press meeting. Nick would be there, just long enough to plant the seed. The bar would be stocked subtly, but with alcohol stronger than it appeared. Taylor made sure of it herself. The room would be rigged with hidden cameras, placed discreetly by someone Taylor paid in cash. The suite had the perfect view, soft lighting, and the right kind of intimacy to trigger all of Brooke's old patterns. It worked faster than expected. Brooke arrived, dressed for business, but glowing with her usual allure. Nick played his part with ease, charming, casual, just vulnerable enough. The conversation drifted to nostalgia. The wine flowed. Taylor, watching remotely from the hotel's tech room, saw Brooke slowly begin to unravel. She wasn't drunk yet, but she was loosening. Then Nick upped the game. He excused himself, left Brooke alone for a few minutes, but not before pouring her another glass, this time of something stronger, disguised as wine. She drank, and drank again. When Nick returned, the shift was obvious. Brooke was slurring slightly, laughing too loudly, brushing off serious topics with flirtation. The conversation turned erratic. She began talking about Ridge, how complicated he was, how she missed the fire. Then she rambled about past loves, about how she always found herself in impossible situations. Nick gently tried to steer her toward rest, but Brooke stood up unsteady. She tripped slightly, giggled, then turned serious. "You know what I hate, Nick," she said, pointing. "That everyone expects me to be the bad one. I'm not. I'm not." Then, quieter, "But maybe I am." It was all on video. Taylor made the call. Ridge was at the Forrester estate with Eric when Taylor called, her voice urgent but composed. "You need to come with me. It's about Brooke." Ridge asked questions, but Taylor gave none. Just an address and a firm, "Trust me." Eric insisted on coming. They arrived at the hotel suite just as Brooke began to collapse onto the couch, murmuring something about love and regret. Taylor opened the door with the manager's key. Ridge stepped in and froze. There was Brooke, disheveled, rambling, clearly intoxicated, her blouse slightly askew, eyes unfocused. Nick was standing to the side, arms crossed, jaw clenched as if he'd just witnessed something uncomfortable. Ridge's face went pale. Eric looked stunned. Brooke looked up and gasped, confused. "Ridge? What are you doing here?" Taylor stepped forward slowly, voice low. "This is who she is, Ridge. Always has been." The silence that followed was heavy. Ridge turned away from Brooke without a word. Eric remained, watching Brooke with a look that mingled pity and disbelief. Then he glanced at Taylor and something didn't sit right. They left. The fallout was instant. Ridge refused to take Brooke's calls. He told Steffi and Thomas what happened in the vaguest terms. "It's over," he said. "Whatever I thought we could rebuild, it's gone." Taylor stayed by his side, supportive, quiet, never gloating. Ridge told her he needed space, and she respected it. But inside, she believed she'd won. Finally, Brooke's pedestal had crumbled. Ridge had chosen her. But Eric couldn't shake the feeling. He returned to the hotel the next day, spoke with the manager, asked casual questions. Something didn't add up. The suite had only been booked a day prior. Not standard for Forrester events. The minibar was refilled unusually, and the clerk on duty mentioned that the woman who arranged the room had been very specific about the camera angles and lighting preferences. Eric dug deeper. Security footage showed Taylor entering the suite alone the day before Brooke arrived. Another video showed her speaking with hotel staff quietly in the back hall. Eric confronted her. She deflected, played innocent. "I was just checking it out," making sure everything was secure. But Eric wasn't convinced. "You wanted Ridge to catch her. You made him catch her." Taylor's silence said more than any denial. Still, Ridge was adamant. "Brooke crossed a line," he told Eric. "I can't go back." Taylor saw her chance and made her move. She and Ridge officially got back together. He moved back in with her, even brought up the idea of taking time away from LA together. But just as Taylor began to feel safe, Ridge said something that froze her blood. "I want a future with no more secrets. I need honesty now. Total. No lies. No games. That's the only way this works." Taylor smiled. Agreed. But inside, she panicked. Because that one condition, no secrets, was the one thing she couldn't give. The setup, the cameras, the alcohol, it was all still out there, in pieces, but traceable. Brooke, now sober and furious, had begun her own digging. She'd gotten the itemized minibar bill, found discrepancies, spoke with the bartender who confirmed the drink she had wasn't what she thought it was. And then she got a copy of the hallway security footage from a lawyer subpoena. She knew. And she wasn't going to stay quiet. Brooke waited. Watched. Bided her time. Because Taylor thought she'd won. But all it would take was one spark to ignite the truth. And the truth would burn through everything Ridge thought he could trust. Brooke stood in the privacy of her own home, the security footage paused on her laptop screen. There, clear as day, was Taylor Hayes entering the suite the day before Brooke ever set foot inside. Brooke's expression hardened. She'd played the fool for years, chased Ridge, begged for forgiveness, tried to rewrite her past. But this was war. And Taylor had drawn first blood. She didn't go straight to Ridge. Not yet. Instead, she confronted Nick. He opened the door to his beach house, surprised. "Brooke," she didn't waste time. "How much did she pay you?" Nick winced. "It wasn't like that." "Then tell me what it was like, Nick." "Because from where I'm standing, I was drugged and humiliated in front of the man I love, and you let it happen." Nick didn't lie. He explained the setup, his hesitations, how it spiraled beyond what Taylor promised. "I didn't know she was going to call Ridge. I thought it was just about catching you in an emotional spiral. Not what happened." Brooke's eyes filled with angry tears. "You stood there while I was falling apart." "You've done worse," he said quietly, but there was regret in his voice. "You've hurt people too." Brooke slapped him. "That doesn't give anyone the right to set me up." She left, seething. At the same time, Taylor was basking in her victory. Ridge had moved in. They shared quiet mornings. He cooked dinner once, even laughed with her in a way he hadn't in years. She felt the shift. He wasn't distracted. He wasn't torn. For the first time in what felt like forever, Taylor believed she had Ridge entirely. But the condition hung in the air like a sword above her head. No more secrets. And the weight of it started to crush her. She told herself it wouldn't surface. That Brooke would eventually spiral again. That Ridge had seen enough to stay away. But the guilt, it festered. She began snapping at staff, canceling therapy appointments. Thomas noticed. So did Steffi. "Is everything okay with you and Dad?" Steffi asked one afternoon. Taylor smiled too quickly. Perfect. Then came the moment. Brooke waited for a Forrester board meeting, one Ridge couldn't skip. Taylor arrived with him, holding his hand. The room was packed. Eric, Steffi, Thomas, Carter, even Donna. Brooke entered late, calm, composed. She carried a manila envelope. "Before we begin," she said, walking to the center of the room, "I'd like to address the personal attack launched against me, one that has now endangered my reputation, my sobriety, and my dignity." Ridge stood. "Brooke, this isn't the time." "No, Ridge," she cut him off. "It's the only time." She pulled a small remote from her purse and aimed it at the TV screen. A video played, security footage from the hotel hallway. Taylor entering. Staff assisting her with what appeared to be equipment bags. Then a time-stamped minibar receipt showing top-shelf liquor not present at the time of Brooke's arrival. Then a short, silent clip of Brooke, intoxicated, stumbling, clearly unaware of being recorded. The room went silent. Taylor's face turned white. Brooke turned to Ridge. "This is what really happened. I was manipulated. Set up. Humiliated. By the woman you think is safe." Ridge stared at the screen, unable to speak. Eric was the first to move. He looked at Taylor, stunned. "Is it true?" Taylor tried to speak. Ridge, I was protecting you. I had to show you what you drugged her." Eric's voice cracked with disbelief. "I didn't drug her." Taylor snapped. "She drank. I just gave the moment a little nudge." "A nudge," Brooke barked. "You orchestrated the whole thing. I was alone, vulnerable, and you played God with my life." Ridge looked at Taylor now with complete clarity. "You lied to me. Again." Taylor reached for his hand. "Ridge, please. I did it for us." He stepped back. "You broke the one condition," he said. "No secrets." "But I don't care what Brooke did or didn't do. I gave you my trust. And you threw it away." He left the room without another word. Taylor stood, heart hammering, watching everything she'd built collapse in real time. The next few days were chaos. Ridge moved out again, refusing to answer calls. Brooke released a public statement explaining the setup without naming Taylor directly, but the damage was done. Word spread fast through fashion circles and media tabloids. Forrester doctor in scandal was splashed across headlines. Steffi confronted her mother. "How could you do that? We had Dad back. You had him." Taylor couldn't respond. She was too busy reliving the mistake in her mind on an endless loop. Meanwhile, Ridge stayed silent. He took time alone, traveling briefly to Big Bear to clear his head. When he returned, he called both women to meet him, separately. To Taylor, he said, "You knew I needed honesty. And instead of trusting me, you tried to manipulate the truth. You didn't just break trust with me. You broke it with my children." To Brooke, he said, "I don't know where we go from here. I don't even know who I am right now. But I know this, you didn't deserve what happened. And I'm sorry." Brooke nodded, but didn't push. "I'll be here if you want to come back. But I'm not chasing you this time." The triangle was shattered, but not resolved. Taylor had lost him again, not because of Brooke's seduction or Ridge's indecision, but because of her own fatal error. And now the very condition she demanded no more secrets had become her undoing. But Brooke knew better than to believe the war was over. Because with the Forresters, nothing stayed buried for long. And Taylor? She wasn't done fighting. Not yet.